Season 46, War number 7, and we are up against Saulty. And this time my team will be Lady D, Werewolf by Night, and Chee'ilth. I will be taking Path 8 in Section 1, Path 7 in Section 2, Sauron, Silk and Photon mini-bosses, along with that 7-star rank 3 Onslaught boss. So, a new set of paths this time around, and a couple minis as well as a boss that I have taken before, but, well, we'll just see how it goes. Starting off this war with a Yellowjacket on the Snowballing Fury and no-hit Mercy nodes, and I will be taking this fight with Chee'ilth. Now Yellowjacket is a tactic defender, but that is basically the only real threat here. His own abilities will never have a chance to really do anything, and as long as I can land those intercepts for the taunt before baiting any specials, I should be fine. Well, so long as I don't try to dex the special one by accident and eat some hits of it. But I do have the regen boost active here, so eating the last hit of that special one, all the damage is already healed up and the fight is over with this special one. It took roughly 30 seconds and Chee'ilth just completely demolished this guy, though he was kind of just a, well, diversity placement at the very best. Then next up here we have an Ebony Maw on the Snowballing Fury and Personal Space Fury nodes, and I will be taking this fight with Chee'ilth as well. Game plan is to basically just melt him with the bleeds, knock him down as often as possible with my heavy attacks to keep the Photon on cooldown, and then repeat. Now Ebony Maw's health pool is pretty small, and this is an early node, so the fight should be down quite quickly, though I will do my best here to not let him use two special ones in a row, or at the very least use that special one before the Fury buff on me expires. I really didn't want to deal with degeneration, and it worked out quite well here. And the heavy reach on Chee'ilth also allows her to quite easily punish Ebony Maw's heavy attack with her own heavy, making the knockdowns simple to get. Now, even if for whatever reason you can't or won't throw your heavies to keep knocking him down for the falter, it is a debuff, and with all those cleanses that she has, she would be able to deal with it regardless, so you don't really have to worry about all that, well, throughout the fight at all. Now, this fight here is a Jessica Jones on the Second Wind Unblockable and Make a Stand nodes, and, well, Chee'ilth basically completely shuts this down. The cleanse charges make it so Jessica here cannot ramp up at all throughout the fight, so she will never go unstoppable, unblockable, or gain any of those annoying resistances. Now also the special one can be heavy countered, like so, allowing you to get those easy knockdowns, pause the bleeds, and make sure that the Make a Stand node, or the protection from the node, stays down for basically the whole fight. It goes down in around 40-ish seconds. She just got completely melted, and there was not much she really could have done there, except maybe land one of those special ones. Even then, she would also cleanse all the debuffs, so it would have been fine either way, no risk of dying there. Now here we have a Wong on the Second Wind Unblockable and Power Creep nodes, and I will be taking this fight with Chee'ilth as well. Now this one, there is just one thing I need to keep an eye on, and that is to make sure I will not finish off Wong while he has at least a bar of power. So before any finishing blows, I need to make sure I bait a special, so that won't happen. If you finish him while he has a bar of power, you are going to get a crossfight on your attacking champion, allowing their next opponent to start with a power gain passive as well as a fury passive, which would be, well, not ideal for the next fight that I will be taking with Chee'ilth. So here, instead of finishing him off with a combo into a special one, I waited, I baited the special one, and now I'm just gonna allow the bleeds to finish him off. Fight took roughly a minute, once again Chee'ilth just completely melting down the defender with all those bleeds, and the fight itself wasn't difficult to take. I just had to make absolutely sure I wouldn't get the crossfight, but more on that after this next fight. And And here we have a Sauron on the Burden of Might and High Energy Diet mini-boss node, and I will be taking this fight with Lady D as I have before. Now the game plan here is to just make sure I keep the heal block debuff up on the opponent at all times, since it will shut down any unblockable abilities on the opponent if they are a mutant champion. That said, as long as I can keep it up, it means that Sauron's own unblockable abilities, as well as the defense tactic, will not be too big of a problem, though the Daunted on me will still make the specials hurt quite a bit, as we see here. Now I could have dexed a part of that, but I did not want to risk it. I'd much rather use some potions than to miss a dex here and die stupidly, since, well, my season has already been filled with deaths that could have been avoided, so yeah, I'm trying to avoid that. Now this fight is basically just me using basic attacks over and over to slowly but surely take this guy down. I don't really get to use my specials all too often because of the Burden of Might node whenever I dex some parts of the opponent's special. Now here he wasn't throwing his special and he was getting quite close to that special 3, and I didn't want to risk dancing around trying to bait a special and then dropping the heal block, followed by me getting absolutely destroyed by an unblockable special 2, so I just had to go for it. I threw a combo into a striker into a combo to finish it off, and luckily it worked out this time. Now here we have a Silk on the Hazard Shift, Incinerate and Shock mini-boss node along with Aggression Prowess, and I will be taking this fight with Chee'ilth. And this is the reason why I did not want Wong's crossfight, since I absolutely need to have the taunt up on Silk before baiting any specials, because a single unblockable special from her and I'm dead. So the power gain from the start of the fight would have been, well, not ideal to say the least. Now here I made a horrible mistake. My plan was to use an advanced power boost to get the special 2 early for the Tranquilize debuff, so I wouldn't have to worry about the Hazard Shift debuffs at all, but I failed to keep my eye on her auto evade, and it was not on cooldown. Luckily I didn't get punished for it, but the special 2 was completely wasted. Now here I am trying to get an opening for an intercept, but she didn't go for it, and now I'm thinking I can just try to get the finish here with a special 1, and the auto evade once again came back, and that was another wasted special, but luckily, again for whatever reason, she decides that she wants to let me live another day and she doesn't punish me. So I was able to close out the fight without dropping a stupid death, but to be completely honest, I should have died there for sure, no question about it. Anyways, next up we have yet another Photon on the Stunning Reflection and Polka Dot Power mini-boss node, and I will be taking the fight with Lady D once again. I have taken this fight basically every war we have seen it on this node, and I am taking it again with the exact same game plan. I will be just relying on the Ruptures for power gain and damage, and then I will be manually playing around the Pure Light form, which is honestly not that difficult to do. I have gone over it before, and I will do so again here, just to be extra clear in explaining exactly what I'm doing. So those charges you see below her health bar, the purple ones, those are the charges you need to watch out for, and once she gets to 10 of them, you can either knock her down, or you can just wait for her to dash back and hold her block, then pound into her block to make her trigger her Pure Light form by herself without actually using a special to do so. While the Pure Light form is active, her specials will be undexable and unblockable, which is not something you really want to deal with, so playing around it manually like this and waiting it around before baiting any more specials is quite a simple way to counter her. Now that the Pure Light form has ended, I can go back to baiting specials without worrying about them being undexable, and that's about all there really is to it. Now I did make a mistake by using my special 2 while the Pure Light form was active. It is paused during either champion specials, so ideally you would just use your basic attacks here and there to maybe tap her once or twice, but otherwise just wait and let it fall off before using any of your own specials, unless you're closing out the fight. Now here I opt to do the knockdown method because she wasn't dashing back, so that triggers the pure light form, and now, once again, I'm just waiting. I go ahead and hit her once or twice here and there to reset the brute force timer so I wouldn't start ticking down. And now, once again, pure light form has ended and I can go back to hitting her like normal, baiting specials, and you just gotta repeat it over and over until the fight is down. This is doable with basically any champion on most nodes, so long as the champion you are using has the damage output to actually close out the fight in 5 minutes. As you can see, this is not the fastest fight, but it is quite safe and not too terribly difficult to do either. This was quite a tanky Photon, but she still went down in just over 2 minutes. Well over 2.5 minutes still left into the fight for buffer if needed. Next up we have the final fight of this war, an Onslaught boss that I will be taking with Werewolf by night. And I did take this boss before, but that was only a 6-star, and this one is a 7-star rank 3, with almost 200,000 more health than the previous one had. And that is exactly why I decided to run half a recoil setup. I run maxed out double edge here, which is that bleed debuff you see on me, so that I would have increased damage output, and my specials will also hit quite a bit harder, though I will take 5% of my max health whenever I do use one. That said, Werewolf by Night does have quite a potent regeneration that remains active throughout most of the fight once you get it going, so the recoil damage ends up being, well, close to nothing and not really a thing to worry about here. Essentially the game plan is to only hit into Onslaught's block to inflict those weaker ruptures and then just howl whenever the howl is off of cooldown. That gives you power gain, get to those special 2s, throw them and repeat until Onslaught is dead. Now if you are taking this matchup, make sure you are capable of fully dexing his special 1 consistently, because that is exactly what you have to do here. Now Onslaught is not gonna be throwing too many special ones due to him not gaining much power at all from blocked hits, but he will get to use some of them, so being able to dex that special 1 fully is a must. Now for me it did take quite a few duels to make it so that I would be comfortable doing something like this, but it was worth it, and at this point I don't really fear fighting him anymore in BGs either. But yeah, that essentially wraps up this fight, and not much else to say about it really. I'm just gonna be repeating this over and over until he goes down or I make a mistake and die, whichever comes first. So I'll just go ahead and let this fight play out. Okay, I lied, I'm gonna talk just a little bit more. So right before closing up the fight, I ended up screwing up and I did get clapped around a little bit by Onslaught, meaning what was a very clean fight now, well, wasn't, which is a little bit disappointing, but at the very least it was only a few basic attacks instead of a special, so I live to tell the tale, and I didn't drop my death number 6 this time around. So that was still a nice finish, all things considered. As for the results, we ended up losing the war 6-6, and we lost on time. Very unfortunate, and most of our deaths were very stupid, which, well, they could have been prevented outside of the fight itself instead of in it, and that's all I am gonna say about those. Hopefully we can prevent those kinds of deaths going forward, otherwise, well, this season's gonna be rough.